One morning, my 72-year-old grandmother called me over. She smiled, but her eyes were different. Everything has been blurry lately. It's like looking through a fog of my grandfather's face. The words, they're all blurry. I held her hand, and her eyes were glistening with tears. She didn't cry, but I knew. She was scared. And that moment started me on a journey to find out if there was a way, natural, simple, to slow down, or even reverse, what millions of people around the world call cataracts. You might be surprised to know nearly 50% of Americans over 75 have cataracts. And the sad thing is, most of them don't know they can prevent them early with things they already have in their kitchens. In this video, I'll walk you through 10 simple, fruit-based habits that are backed by research from universities like Harvard, UCLA, and the University of Sydney. These seemingly familiar fruits can act as bioshields to protect your eyes from clouding, glare, and vision loss. And if you stay until the end, you'll get a one-day eating plan designed to keep your eyes clear, without drugs or surgery. Before we get started, I have a question. Have you or someone you know ever had vision problems? Have any habits helped you improve your eyesight, even just a little? Share your story in the comments below. I read them all, and every story is part of this healing journey. Now, let's dive into the truth behind this silent disease and discover the wonders that nature has given our eyes. Let's start with something that everyone seems to know, but very few people understand. What is a cataract, and why does it happen? My grandmother used to say, eyes are memories. Losing an eye is losing a part of your memory. I didn't understand that until I watched her sit by the window for hours, her eyes opaque, trying to make out my grandfather's silhouette in the garden they had tended for 40 years. There is something happening silently in her eyes, as in the eyes of millions of others around the world, and it is painless, without warning, and without noise. It is cataracts. Imagine your eye as a camera. The lens inside, called the crystalline lens, is responsible for focusing light so that the image is clear. When we are young, the lens is as clear as a raindrop. But over time, the proteins in the lens begin to clump together, forming opaque clouds. Light no longer passes straight through, images become blurred, lack color, and sometimes so bright that we can't see into the light. That's when cataracts silently rob us of our sight. There are three main enemies that cause this process. Free radicals, unstable molecules that attack eye cells, especially when you are exposed to a lot of sunlight, smoke, or have prolonged stress. Hyperglycemia and diabetes. Blood sugar combines with proteins in the eyes, gives forming glycation products that cloud the lens. Age are natural, but not impossible to slow down. The thing is, this process starts very early, sometimes from the age of 40, but only becomes apparent when we are 60, 70 years old. Like rust, no one hears it, but it spreads silently day by day and hour by hour. I have an aunt, a nurse for over 20 years. She used to think she was very healthy. She ate healthily, didn't smoke, but she often skipped her sunglasses when she went out in the sun and had a sweet tooth. At 58, she started to see blurred light, and driving at night was difficult because the headlights of oncoming cars exploded across the windshield. When she went to the doctor, he said, "You have early signs of cataracts." She asked, "Is there a natural way to slow it down?" And it was from that question that I started to research further and discovered the magic of fruits and natural nutrition. Sometimes, the biggest problems don't come with a bang, but with silence. Cataracts are such a silent thief, but the great thing is, we can prevent it if we act early enough. And you don't need expensive drugs or surgery to get started. All you need is an orange, a bowl of blueberries, half an avocado, and persistence. Now that you understand the mechanics, the question is, are there any fruits that can actually protect your eyes from the inside a little bit every day? Let's start that journey now with the first and perhaps the most common, yet most underrated fruit. Many people don't think about their eyes until their vision starts to fall like autumn leaves. And when that happens, they often go straight to one option: surgery. Cataract surgery, is it always the best solution? There's no denying it. Cataract surgery is today one of the most successful procedures in modern medicine. In just 15 to 20 minutes, you can replace the old lens with a brand new artificial lens. But also is like changing a light bulb. Sometimes you can wipe it clean before you replace it. Surgery, while quick, is still a medical intervention. It can leave complications such as dry eyes, infections, or vision problems. It's not cheap. Without good insurance, eye surgery in the US can cost $3,500, $5,000 per eye. And most importantly, it doesn't prevent cataracts from coming back in the other eye or other eye problems if lifestyle habits don't change. And what about fruit? No one said eating an orange was magic. But what science is proving more clearly every day is that nutrition can slow and even reverse the early stages of cataracts. A diet rich in vitamin C, lutein, zeaxanthin, anthocyanins from familiar fruits such as oranges, avocados, blueberries, papaya, or goji berries. They do not replace the lens like surgery, but they protect it, nourish it, day after day. I once met Claire, a retired elementary school teacher. At 66, her doctor advised her to schedule eye surgery, but she hesitated, not because she was afraid of surgery, but because she was not ready to stop reading to her grandchild. Instead of surgery, she decided to try something, change her daily menu. She started eating half an avocado every morning, adding frozen blueberries to her yogurt, drinking tea made from goji berries, and never forgetting to wear sunglasses when going out. A year later, her vision had not improved miraculously, but it had not worsened. The doctor said, "Your cataract is stable, no intervention is needed." And she still reads to you every Tuesday night. Surgery may be a last resort, and sometimes necessary. But fruit is the seed of initiative. It's a way for you to choose to protect your vision before it goes bad. No one brushes their teeth until they have cavities. So why wait until their vision goes bad to start protecting it? So if you're ready to take care of your eyes naturally, starting in the kitchen, the first fruit you should turn to every day is the one you once thought was only good for colds. Let's explore why oranges, something as familiar as the morning sun, can be the silent gatekeeper for your eyes. When I was a child, I often caught a cold in the winter, and as a reflex, my mother would put a glass of orange juice on the table and say, "Drink this, it will make you feel better." And so, in my mind, oranges equals vitamin C equals colds. It wasn't until years later that I learned. Oranges don't just cure colds, they can also save your eyes. A medium orange contains about 70 milligrams of vitamin C, but that's not the only important thing. Vitamin C is the primary antioxidant in the lens of the eye, which has 20 times the concentration of vitamin C in it than in the blood. Why? Because the lens is extremely sensitive to free radicals, molecules that damage proteins and cause them to clump together into opaque clouds called cataracts. Vitamin C neutralizes those free radicals, like a silent gatekeeper. And oranges do it even better. They contain hesperidin and naringin, two flavonoids that increase vitamin C absorption by up to 35%. Which means, for every orange segment you eat, your eyes get more than you think. Sylvia, 74, of Florida, once shared with me at a senior health seminar. "Every morning I start my day with an orange," she said. "Not because I'm afraid of catching a cold, but because after my husband got cataracts, I started to learn." She read a study that found that people who eat oranges 3 times a week have a 33% lower risk of developing cataracts. And since then, she has made it a sacred habit every morning. Wash your face, peel the orange, eat the white skin, and drink a glass of warm water. "It's like brushing your teeth for your eyes," she laughed. Eating the whole fruit is better than drinking juice, even fresh juice. Whole oranges contain fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar, which is extremely important, since high sugar can promote the formation of cataracts faster. Don't peel too cleanly. The pith, the white layer under the orange peel, is where the most hesperidin is found. Eat oranges in the morning or at noon. That's when your body absorbs vitamin C best. If oranges usually give you a stomach ache, try Caracara oranges. They're sweeter, milder, and packed with carotenoids that are good for your eyes. Sometimes, the power lies not in the novelty, but in the familiarity that we forget. Oranges, a fruit we've held in our hands 1,000 times, may be silently protecting the light of our lives. And the best part, they don't require a prescription, just a small habit. Repeat it every day. But if oranges are the gatekeepers, then this next fruit is like a special forces soldier, able to penetrate the deepest part of the eye, past the blood-retinal barrier, to protect the lens from within. They're tiny, deep purple, and more powerful than you think. I used to think blueberries were just a garnish on a cake or smoothie bowl. Those small, dark purple berries didn't seem to have much of a role beyond a mildly sweet and sour taste, until I read a sentence in a study from the National Eye Institute. Anthocyanins from blueberries is one of the few compounds that can cross the blood-retinal barrier to protect the lens. And that's when I started looking at blueberries differently. How do they work? Blueberries have the highest concentration of antioxidants of any commonly consumed fruit, especially anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give them their blue-violet color, and they also help protect tissues in the eye from oxidation. Unlike many other antioxidants, the anthocyanins in blueberries can cross the blood-retinal barrier, a special protective mechanism in the body. Once they do, they help prevent damage to proteins in the lens, thereby reducing the risk of cataracts. A 10-year study found that people who ate a diet rich in anthocyanins had a 38% lower risk of cataracts. How to eat them most effectively? Frozen blueberries may be better than fresh because freezing breaks down the cell structure, making it easier for the body to absorb the anthocyanins. Don't cook them at high temperatures. Heat above 350 degrees Fahrenheit destroys up to 50% of anthocyanins. Paired with healthy fats like plain yogurt, it helps with absorption. Aim for about 1 cup, about 150 grams a day. Susan, 63, is an avid gardener. After a routine checkup, her doctor noticed that her eyes were starting to get a little cloudy. Instead of panicking, she started keeping a record of everything she ate. A new habit emerged. Every morning, she mixed a half cup of frozen blueberries with oatmeal and a spoonful of flaxseed. After 6 months, her doctor said her eyes were stable. There was no sign of further progression. She laughed and said, "I never thought eating a simple breakfast could help my eyes stay so clear." Sometimes, small changes add up to big results. A handful of blueberries a day won't change the world, but they might keep your eyes from changing too quickly with age. If blueberries are like frontline defenders, then this next fruit plays a different role, providing the actual building blocks for your eyes. It's not sweet, it's not juicy, but it's one of the richest foods in lutein and zeaxanthin, two compounds that make up the lens and macula. You might be thinking salad. And yes, we're talking about, there was a time when I avoided avocados. Too much fat, I thought. And I wasn't the only one. Many people, especially older generations, were taught that fat was something to avoid. But it turns out that not all fat is the enemy, especially when it comes to your eyes. In fact, good fats are what help your eyes absorb the most important nutrients for protecting your vision. And avocados, this lush, creamy green fruit, are your best friend, and you may have overlooked them. Why are avocados so good for your eyes? Avocados are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that are particularly concentrated in the lens and macula of the eye. They act as biological sunglasses, filtering out harmful blue light and UV rays, which can damage the lens over time. What's more, the unsaturated fats in avocados, especially oleic acid, increase the absorption of lutein and zeaxanthin from other foods. Put simply, if you eat kale, eggs or carrots with avocados, your body will take advantage of the nutrients much better. A study at Ohio University found that adding half an avocado to your salad increases lutein absorption by up to 5 times. Eat avocados the right way and at the right time. Eat the dark green flesh-mere peel. This is where carotenoids are most concentrated, 11 times more than the flesh in the middle. Do not cook above 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 150 degrees Celsius. High heat can destroy lutein. Combined with a main meal of the day, research shows that lutein is better absorbed when eaten with a lunch or dinner that contains protein and fat. Uncle Frank, 68, is a retired mechanic. After an eye exam, his doctor said his eyes were starting to cloud, the early stages of cataracts. Instead of waiting for surgery, Uncle Frank started changing his breakfast. Every morning, he ate half an avocado with a boiled egg and spinach. 3 months later, at his next checkup, his vision had not only not deteriorated, but had improved slightly. He told me, "I don't know what the avocado does, but I can see better on the highway." The solution doesn't always come from a pill or surgery. Sometimes it comes from half an avocado on your plate, quietly feeding each eye cell every day. Fat, the right kind, the right way, doesn't make you lose your sight. On the contrary, it's what helps you see better in the years to come. if avocados are carriers, helping nutrients get to where they need to go. Then the next fruit is nature's pharmacist, containing powerful enzymes that can prevent protein clumping in the lens. They're sweet, soft, and as bright orange as the morning sun. Can you guess? When I was a kid, my grandfather used to eat a slice of papaya after every lunch. He called it the dessert of those who want to live long. I just laughed at the time, thinking he was joking. But over the years, when I read a study about papaya and eye health, I suddenly remembered him and realized there are simple tips that we only understand the value of when we grow up. Papaya, tropical fruit, global benefits. Papaya is not only delicious and soft, it is also one of the fruits richest in vitamins and enzymes that support vision, especially in preventing cataracts. 1 cup of ripe papaya, about 145 grams, contains 188% of the daily requirement of vitamin C, 1,492 IU of vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene, and especially a rare natural enzyme, papain. Papain, the cloud-breaking enzyme in the eyes. Papain is well known for its ability to tenderize meat, but in the body, it does something even more amazing. Breaks down and prevents protein clumping, the main cause of cataracts. A study at Manipal University, India tested papain from papaya on diabetic mice, a group prone to cataracts. After 16 weeks, the group using papaya reduced the phenomenon of lens opacity by 67% compared to the group not using it. Mrs. Linda, 70 years old, living in Hawaii, once told me that she eats papaya like a morning ritual, not because of her preference, but because of her mother's advice when she was still alive. Papaya helps your eyes see dreams clearly. When she went for an eye exam last year, the doctor was surprised because her lens was very clear compared to people of the same age. She shared a simple secret: a cup of papaya on an empty stomach. Do not add sugar. Do not remove the seeds in a hurry. The right way to eat papaya to protect the eyes. Eat on an empty stomach in the morning. Helps the papain enzyme work more effectively. You should eat papaya when it is 80 to 90% ripe. Do not eat it too green or too ripe. Save a few seeds. Papaya seeds contain antioxidant polyphenols and can be crushed into small pieces like peppercorns. If fresh papaya is hard to find, you can use frozen papaya. It retains 85% of its nutrients without cooking. Sometimes, it's the softest things that are the most powerful. Papaya is not a big deal. It's not an expensive superfood. But it can prevent your eyes from becoming cloudy, which many people suffer from later in life. Maybe that's why my grandfather called it the dessert of those who want to live long. Not to live long enough to breathe, but to see clearly every moment you're living. And now, the last fruit on this list, and perhaps the most powerful. A small, blood-red fruit, used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. And now, modern science has confirmed it. It can reverse the early stages of cataracts. I remember the first time I was given a small bag of dark red, dried but mildly fragrant berries, goji berries. An old Chinese woman handed me the package at a market in San Francisco. She said, "This is a gift for the eyes. Not mine, but my ancestors." At that time, I just smiled politely. But when I started learning about goji berries, I understood that sometimes ancient remedies are ahead of modern science. Goji berries, a small treasure for the eyes. Goji berries are famous in traditional Chinese medicine for their tonifying the liver and brightening the eyes effect, that is, nourishing the liver and brightening the eyes. Now, Western science has proven that this is true. They contain the highest zeaxanthin content in the plant world, up to 160 milligrams, 100 grams, 20 times more than spinach, 40 times more than oranges. Zeaxanthin is the main carotenoid that makes up the lens and macula, helping to protect the eyes from blue light and UV rays, the direct agents that cause damage to eye cells and cataracts. In addition, goji berries also contain LBP lithium barbarum polysaccharides, a compound that is a powerful antioxidant, reduces inflammation, and stimulates the production of glutathione, the endogenous bodyguard of the lens. A study at Beijing Medical University showed that in 90 days, 77% of people who used goji berries every day had a clear improvement in lens clarity, while the placebo group continued to fade. Margaret, 63 years old, living in Utah, was once warned by her doctor about early signs of cataracts. As a lover of herbs, she did not rush to have surgery, but instead turned to natural therapy. Every morning, she soaked a handful of goji berries in warm water, ate a few walnuts, and drank the soaked water like tea. 3 months later, she returned for a checkup. The result? Her vision had not deteriorated as predicted. The doctor was surprised. She just smiled. "I don't know if this fruit is magical, but I know it has bought me time and hope." How to use goji berries effectively and safely. Use organic, unsweetened or sulfur-coated varieties. Choose products from Ningxia, China or Tibet, where the quality is highest. Soak for 15 minutes in warm water before eating helps soften and increase absorption. The soaked liquid can be drunk like tea. Eat in the morning. Do not eat after 2 p.m. as it can cause insomnia. Ideal dosage, 15 to 20 grams per day, about a small handful. Combine with good fats like walnuts, almonds for optimal zeaxanthin absorption. Note: if you are taking blood thinners or diabetes medications, consult your doctor before using regularly. Not every powerful solution has to come in the form of expensive medicine. Sometimes it comes in a small red fruit, picked from a faraway land, and handed to you by a grandmother with sparkling eyes. Goji berries are more than just a fruit. They are nature's gentle reminder. Start before it's too late. Nourish before you have to repair. Now you know the 5 powerful fruits that can protect and even reverse lens damage. But there's one last thing, and perhaps the most important. It's not one fruit, but how to combine them all into a sustainable, simple, and effective habit. Because eating well once a day is not enough. But if you maintain it every day, miracles can happen. Throughout my journey to learn how to nourish my eyes, I've met many people who have asked me, "What should I eat to keep my eyes healthy?" But few people ask, "What should I avoid if I want to keep my eyes bright longer?" The answer, sometimes, lies not in the fact that you lack a certain fruit, but in the fact that you are eating the wrong things every day without realizing it. The silent enemy, foods that blur eyes. There are 4 main food groups that you should avoid or limit as much as possible if you are really concerned about your eye health, especially the risk of cataracts. 1. Refined sugar and industrial sweets causes increased blood sugar, gives forms glycation end products AGS. Substances that damage proteins in the lens, causing them to clump together, gives blurred vision. These also deplete vitamin C, which is essential to protect the lens too. Fried foods at high temperatures causes lipid peroxide, a very strong free radical that destroys the structure of eye cells. French fries, fried chicken, donuts are familiar but dangerous foods. 3. Trans fat causes chronic inflammation and reduces blood flow to the retina and lens. Often found in packaged cookies, margarine, processed foods. 4. Alcohol and alcoholic beverages reduces the absorption of vitamins A, C, E3 essential vitamins for vision. Causes dehydration. This directly affects the structure of the lens. I once talked to a 65-year-old man named Dave who lives in Texas. He loves sweets, especially donuts and butter cookies. After the doctor warned him of signs of cataracts, he started to learn. He said, "I couldn't give up sweets completely, but I changed my strategy. Instead of eating 2 donuts every morning, he started eating 1 cup of Greek yogurt with blueberries and a few walnuts. And on the weekends, if he's really craving it, he'll allow himself a small slice of cake, but homemade, with oats and bananas. 6 months later, his eyes no longer water when driving at night. And he brags, "I lost 4 kilograms without feeling any pain." We often think of eye care as extra work, eating more, drinking more, exercising more. But sometimes the simplest way to start is to cut back a little. Less sugar, less frying oil, less things that age your eyes prematurely. And the great thing is, when you cut out the unnecessary, your body has more room to absorb the good stuff. Now you know what to eat and what to avoid. So how do you combine all of that into a complete, easy, hassle-free day of eating? In the next part, I'll share with you a 1-day meal plan based entirely on science to nourish your eyes from morning to night. I know the feeling. You hear a lot of knowledge and then ask yourself, I know what to eat, what to avoid, but what does a bright-eyed day look like? Let me tell you about a very ordinary day, but one that can do wonders for your eyes. A day that doesn't require expensive ingredients or complicated recipes. Just a little preparation, a little perseverance, and a desire to see the world a little longer. Morning. Soothe your eyes and wake up your enzymes. What to eat? 1 cup ripe papaya on an empty stomach. 1 handful goji berries soaked in warm water for 15 minutes. 1–2 walnuts or almonds. Why? Papaya provides vitamin C, beta-carotene and papain enzyme, which works best on an empty stomach. Goji berries, rich in zeaxanthin and LBP, strengthen the internal bodyguard for the eyes. Fatty seeds help absorb carotenoids better because they are fat-soluble. Tip: don't throw away the goji berry water, it's a natural eye-brightening tea. Lunch. Increase nutrient absorption. Dish: mixed salad of spinach or kale, boiled egg, half an avocado, grated carrots. 1 orange for dessert. Eat the thin white skin if possible. Why? Avocado increases absorption of lutein and zeaxanthin from eggs and vegetables. Orange provides vitamin C plus hesperidin, helps protect the lens from free radicals. Tip: add a little extra virgin olive oil, delicious and helps absorb nutrients. Afternoon snack. Prevent eye strain. Food: 1 cup Greek yogurt plain, plus 1/2 cup frozen blueberries, thawed naturally. 1 tablespoon chia seeds soaked first to create a gel. Why? Blueberries provide anthocyanins, which help penetrate the blood-retinal barrier to protect the lens. Yogurt and chia seeds add fat and protein for optimal absorption. Tip: use blueberries, frozen blueberries instead of fresh, as they release more antioxidants when cells are broken down by the freezing process. Dinner. Light, non-glycemic dish. Lightly pan-fried salmon with steamed vegetables, zucchini, cherry tomatoes, broccoli. Dessert. A few slices of papaya or a glass of warm water with a few slices of lemon and mint. Why? Salmon, rich in omega-3 south, which help fight inflammation and protect the macula. Broccoli, tomatoes, rich in lutein, vitamins and C. Tip: don't eat too late. Eating dinner before 7 p.m. will help your body absorb and recover better for both your eyes and your sleep. Daily nutrition summary: enough vitamin C, i.e. rich in lutein, zeaxanthin, anthocyanins, supplemented with papain enzyme, good fats, antioxidants from goji and blueberries. Karen, 58, a primary school teacher, once told me, "I don't have time to be fussy. But when my daughter helped me come up with a simple daily meal plan like this, I started following it, and surprisingly, I felt the difference. Less eye strain, reading longer, driving at night is no longer blurry like before. And most importantly," she said, "I feel like I'm taking the initiative to protect my eyes, not just waiting for the day I have to go into surgery." You don't have to change your whole life. Just choose the right meals, the right foods every day. Because it's the little things, repeated regularly, that make for long-lasting, clear eyes, not just for seeing, but for enjoying life. We've gone through 9 parts, from understanding the mechanism of cataracts to discovering each type of fruit that can brighten eyes from within, and ending with an easy-to-apply daily eating plan. But there's one last thing, more important than fruits, enzymes, or vitamins. It's habits, consistency, and daily action, starting now. Let's move on to the final part. Number 10. Consistency over perfection, the habit that truly protects your vision. A few years ago, I met an old man named Bill at a small eye health seminar for seniors. Even though he's over 75, he still reads without glasses, drives comfortably at night, and always looks straight at the person in front of him with clear eyes. I asked curiously for the secret. He just smiled and said, "I take care of my eyes every day. Like people take care of a garden. Water gently, weed on time, and don't leave them unattended for too long." And I understood, perseverance and regularity in the smallest things are what keep our eyes from being blurred by time. Daily habits, not complicated, but sustainable. You don't need to change your whole life. Just start with the 5 simple habits below. Do it every day, like a small ritual for your eyes. 1. Sunbathe in the morning to 10 minutes without glasses, without screens. Early morning light helps the biological clock work on the right rhythm, helps the eyes adjust to natural light, reducing visual stress. 2. Drink eye-brightening tea. Soak a handful of goji berries in warm water for 10 to 15 minutes. Eat the whole fruit plus drink the soaked water. You can add a few slices of lemon and some mint for a refreshing taste. 3. Eat at least 2 types of eye-protecting fruits every day, an orange at noon. A bowl of blueberries with yogurt in the afternoon. Half an avocado or a few slices of papaya. 4. Rest your eyes 3 times a day to 2 minutes each time. Close your eyes gently, breathe deeply, avoid all light and screens. Each time like that helps your eyes refresh, prevent dryness and eye strain. 5. Wear sunglasses when going out, not just when the sun is strong. UV rays can be harmful even on cloudy days. Prioritize UV for eyeglasses, tea-colored or natural grey. He said that every morning, when he makes goji berry juice, he opens the window, letting the sun shine on his face. Then, he walks around the block for 15 minutes without his phone. I call it my eye-brightening moment of the day, he said. Despite his changing schedule, he has not given up on that habit for more than 20 years. And he believes that it is that regularity that has kept his vision clear, not by magic, but by perseverance. There is no magic pill that can replace a small habit repeated every day. Eye care is not just for old age, it is a gift you give yourself today. Whether you are 35 or 75, whether you are seeing clearly or starting to see a little blurry. The important thing is not where you are, but where you are willing to start. We have just gone through 10 parts together, from understanding the causes of cataracts to fruits and habits that can keep your eyes bright for a long time, without having to go to the operating room, without waiting until it is too late. But all that will only be knowledge if you do not turn it into action. Start today. Join me in this journey and open yourself up to a new, clearer perspective. You've just been on a journey that's not just about nutrition, but about looking at life with clear, healthy, proactive eyes. Together we've explored what really causes cataracts and why they're not an inevitable part of aging. The little but mighty fruits, from oranges, blueberries, avocados to goji berries, that can protect and even help restore the lens. A delicious, eye-healthy eating plan for the day. And most importantly, it's the small habits, repeated every day, that determine how long you'll see clearly in your life. The most important thing to remember, nothing happens overnight. But every change starts with a small choice. An orange instead of a soda. A handful of goji berries instead of a cookie. A 10-minute morning in the sun instead of in front of a screen. Now it's your turn to take action. Comment below. What habit would you start with? Or do you have a story about eyes, vision, or a loved one who has had cataracts? I read every comment and would love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends and family, especially those over 40. Sometimes a video like this can help someone keep their eyesight clear for many more years. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos about health, nutrition, and living well after 50. And finally, remember, the eyes are the windows to the soul, but you are the one who cleans them every day by your choices. See you in the next video. Keep your eyes bright and keep your soul looking at the most beautiful things.